ChatGerry, The Importance of Lifetime Learning, Pattern Recognition and Viscoplastopology, number 1483, VPT Sharp 044, December 29, 2025. Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation. Category: Learning, Pattern Recognition, Research Methodology. Preface: My grandson will graduate next May from Princeton University with undergraduate degrees in applied mathematics and artificial intelligence. Recently, I had a long and meaningful conversation with him about what truly matters in building a strong and durable intellectual foundation. I told him that 3 foundations matter most in life: life philosophy, mathematics, and physics. Life philosophy shapes values and responsibility. Mathematics trains logical thinking. Physics explains how the real world actually works. I also pointed out that his preparation in physics was not yet sufficient, and would need further strengthening. I used strong words. I told him that everything we can observe in this world must obey the laws of physics. If something can be seen, measured, or detected, it cannot violate physical laws. Physics may not yet explain everything we observe, but nothing we observe exists outside physics. What is unexplained today simply reflects limits in our current understanding or measurement tools. These disciplines train the mind to think from first principles. First principles mean building understanding from the ground up, using logic, basic truths, and direct reasoning, rather than relying on habits, averages, authority, or mainstream opinions. They help us understand systems, structure, constraints, and causality, especially when facing unfamiliar or complex problems. I also told him that degrees are far less important than real knowledge. Shining degrees may bring personal pride and social recognition, but solid knowledge brings true strength. Knowledge determines how a person thinks, adapts, and solves problems when conditions change, or when standard tools no longer work. I emphasized that learning does not stop after earning a doctoral degree, or any formal credential. In reality, serious learning often begins only after formal education ends, when curiosity, discipline, and responsibility become self-directed. This is the true meaning of lifetime learning. That conversation led me to write this article. I realize these ideas may help not only my grandson, but also many young people preparing to enter their professional lives. Real strength always comes from within, not from titles, nameplates, or external prestige. Why statistics alone is not enough. Modern research, especially in medicine and economics, is dominated by statistical thinking. One common debate is n equals 1 versus n equals many. Individual cases are often dismissed as weak, while population studies are treated as rigorous and authoritative. Medical education reflects this mindset. Medical school curricula emphasize biology and chemistry, but require little training in mathematics or physics. The system is designed for practice efficiency, not for first principles understanding. From a vector path theory perspective, this approach has serious limitations. Health, learning, careers, and complex systems do not fail because of a single number. They fail because their trajectory slowly drifts in a harmful direction, or suddenly changes due to an extreme spike. Vector path theory focuses on paths and direction, not snapshots. It helps us see where something is heading before it breaks. Viscoplastopology in simple terms. Viscoplastopology, or VPT, integrates 3 core ideas. First is viscoplasticity. Systems deform over time. Some deformation is reversible, like elastic stretching. Other deformation is permanent, like plastic damage. What matters are time, change rate, and accumulated damage. Whether the data come from one person or many people does not change these physical realities. Second is topology. Topology focuses on shape, continuity, and structural change, not exact numbers. It asks how trajectories evolve, where turning points appear, and when qualitative shifts occur. Third is vector path representation. System behavior is described as paths in a multidimensional space. These paths reveal direction, curvature, congestion, divergence, and collapse. Viscoplastopology is not abstract math. It is a geometric and physical way of seeing how systems move, accumulate damage, and eventually fail. Why sample size is not a physical law. Statistics was created to manage uncertainty when mechanisms are unknown. Larger sample sizes help reduce noise when we do not understand the governing process. But sample size is not a law of nature. It is a compensatory tool. From a signal-to-noise point of view, long-term data from one carefully measured system is often clearer than data collected from many different systems. In population studies, differences between individuals create background noise that can hide true patterns. When one system is measured over time, much of that noise disappears, allowing the real path and underlying mechanism to emerge. Energy and geometry do not change based on sample size. A stress-strain curve is the same, whether it comes from one beam or 1,000 beams. What matters is whether the mechanism is captured correctly. Pattern recognition as a learned skill. Pattern recognition is often described as talent or intuition. From a VPT perspective, it is neither. It is a trained physical skill. Patterns do not exist in single snapshots. Like a movie, patterns exist in motion. Longitudinal observation reveals stability, drift, acceleration, and rupture. Geometry matters more than individual numbers. Numbers fluctuate, but shapes persist. Slopes, curvature, clustering, and turning points reveal governing laws. Failure cases are the most informative. Systems reveal their structure most clearly near breakdown. Outliers are not errors, they are warning signals. Across multiple domains, the same patterns repeat. Congestion in microchips, fatigue in materials, vascular stiffening, organizational collapse, and cognitive overload all share the same geometric signatures. Once you learn to see the shape of failure in a machine, you can begin to see it in a human body, a life shaped by pattern recognition. This way of thinking did not come from one discipline. It came from decades of multidisciplinary study and exposure to many systems, governed by the same physical laws. I spent 43 years on studying 8 academic disciplines, 9 years in psychology, and 16 years in intensive medical self-study. I also spent 12 years working in AI-based semiconductor chip design through professional on-the-job training, which was not included in my personal study record. Those experiences trained my mind to recognize structure across domains. This is not about credentials. It is about continuous mental training. At age 79, what I carry is not just knowledge. It is compressed experience. It is the ability to sense trajectory, limits, and failure modes across many systems. That capability was not accidental. It was earned. Disclaimer: this article is written for educational purposes only, and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. The content may be shared freely, but must not be altered or republished as one's own. All rights belong to the author, Gerald C.